Greetings hobbyists, this is Artisans of Vaul. And in this video we're having a look at Blender 5's new Instance on Elements modifier and some tricks you really need to know to make the most out of it. So at the moment I'm just setting up some stone blocks and giving them a bit of variation so they're not all looking the same. And that's because in a recent video looking at the array modifier in Blender 5, I got asked by Dave if this would be a good way of making something like a stone henge. That is a stone space henge, not Stonehenge, though Stonehenge is a type of Stonehenge. So what we're looking to do is create a series of stone blocks, but we want each one to look a little bit different because they're going to get weathered and broken down over time and they're made of natural stone. So bear in mind what we saw in that video, using an array seems like a sensible idea. If we just Shift and D to duplicate this one over here and add a modifier and an array, we've got now a really nice option for the array, which is to use a circle. We can up this count to, let's say, 16, and then we'll increase the radius of this circle somewhere here, and yeah, this looks like a pretty good henge. We can also randomize them a little bit, so we can change, let's say, the scaling on certain axes. In fact, we could probably do this in a uniform way and it'll be fine, though we would be best off changing our origin, let's G and Z that down, to the bottom so that they're all approximately the same height. So this seems like a good way to make our henge, but it is a bit too uniform. I know they're all different sizes, but they are the same shape. And Dave was asking, how could we have some ones that are missing, which also would be important after some time. So let's just delete this out and we'll look at what we're going to do instead. So what we're going to do instead is use a series of these rocks. We're going to do the same thing and just G and Z our object origins down a little bit, and then we'll come back to options and stop transforming them, and then we're just going to G and then Y those over to the side somewhere here. And importantly, we're not going to use an array modifier, we're going to use the Instance on Elements modifier. You could probably guess that from the title. So we're just going to Shift A, Mesh, and bring in a circle. And we'll stick with 16 as our number of vertices. That'll mean that we're going to get 16 points. Each one of these vertices will become one of our stones in this henge, and then it's just S to make this a bit bigger. Does that look right in terms of our stones? No, much bigger than that, somewhere there. We could always change this later. Control and A, and we need to apply the scale. So if we come to this and we come to Add Modifier and we type in Instance, we get our Instance on Elements modifier. And this has some options. We can instance on points, edges, faces, or corners. We're just going to deal with points, but being able to instance on faces can be really useful in some respects. This is also, if you want to do uniform rivets, how I'd probably do rivets on an object as well. I might do another video looking at that, just because this is so much more simple than what we had to do previously. Then we can click on our pipette, select our object here, and we'll notice that this is not great in terms of its alignment. Now if I come to transform, we've got a line rotation, and if I don't do that, then everything stays in the same angle, so everything looks the same. So we do want to align rotation, but we need to know that the Z axis always points outwards from our normal, and in our circle, the normals point outwards. If I just hide this for a second, and we come into edit mode and then come up here, we can say that we want to see our normals. Let's put vertex normals on and up the size, and you can see these blue lines here showing our normal direction. So let's just take that off a second and then we'll come back to this. So what we need to do is for our object, let's just turn the instancing back on, we're just going to need to rotate this around. So if we just R to rotate this round and type in 90 minus and Control and A and apply the rotation, suddenly everything's pointing upwards and it's looking okay. Once again though, this is looking a little bit uniform. These are all the same object and we don't actually have the option here to scale individually. We can scale all of them, but not at random. These are two things that we need to solve. And you'll also notice that we can't have some missing. Right, let's deal with the first one. We want these to all be included. We want to select randomly from our objects. So let's just start off. We're going to select all of them and we are going to need to rotate these as well. So let's just rotate these individually and then R90 minus, there we go, Control and A and apply the rotation. So this is now going to work. If we want to move these apart just so we can see them more easily, we can do. But we've now got everything aligned in the correct direction for this to work based on what we saw earlier. Then we're going to select all of these, and importantly I'm going to click M, and then we're going to go to a new collection and we'll call these stones and create. So now we've got our normal collection, which currently has the circle in it, and then we've got our stones all over here. Okay, let's come back to this and we'll have a look at what we're going to do. So we're going to come to our modifier and we're going to click collection. We're going to, from our collection, type in stones and select stones, and then we're going to get all of the stones on top of each other because we need to pick an instance. There we go. So now, very nicely, we get a random choice of stones, or each stone is a randomized one. And this already looks way better, I think you'll agree, than what we had beforehand. Maybe let's just go into edit mode S and make this a little bit wider apart. That looks good. Now, we want to have some of them missing, and the instance on elements already comes with the ability to do that. It's got this mask option, and if I just drag this down, you can see it will randomly get rid of some of the stones. And if we think that there's too many on one side, we can just click the seed and it will change between our options. So we can get something more to our liking. Oh, I quite like that. Maybe let's up that a little bit more to somewhere about there. Yeah, that looks good to me. So this mask is dealing with our issue of having some of them missing. We also don't want to keep the surface, so we'll get rid of that. Now, we do have this transform option, but as we mentioned, this doesn't work particularly well, so we're not going to worry about that. Instead, we're going to use another one of the new modifiers that's included in Blender 5 onwards, and I really don't know why this isn't being talked about more. Let's just shift an A, we're going to type in instance, and we want randomized transformation, which affects instances. It tells us this here. So let's click that. Now this is a beautiful modifier. It does exactly what we want to do. It allows us to randomize our rotation slightly, so we can rotate it a bit on the y-axis. Let's do that so they're not perfectly aligned. There we go. Just a little bit. We could also do things on the x-axis if we wanted them to be not perfectly straight. There we go. So maybe they've moved a little bit over time. We can also affect the scale. We can do that uniformly. So let's just up how much that's going to have an effect. Or we can do it by axes, and we could just, for example, do certain axes have certain amounts more than others. So let's have maybe more on the height and then the width that way. So we can do that as well. And we can also change things like the offset. So maybe a couple of them are a little bit closer together and maybe one or two of them are a little bit closer in. It's not a perfect circle. So we can play around with that as much as we want. Let's go somewhere about there. And then finally we can do flipping as well. Now that's entirely up to you how much you want to flip them, and that's quite useful because it will literally flip that proportion of them the other way round. This is sometimes better than the angle because I want to keep them looking like they have a flat surface towards the center. So this is really useful, and then once again we can change the seed so we can just randomize these in different ways until we find one that we like. Now we're about to have a problem here if we want to use this for 3D printing, which is what I'm going to want to use it for. So say for example I was going to bring in, I don't know, let's say a cube that's tiny, and then let's S, Shift and Z and do something like that, G and Z. Just there, that's going to be here. Oh, you'll notice one of them's turned into a cube because I put the cube in the stone. Let's move that up to the collection and we've solved that issue. So say I wanted this to be a terrain tile or something like that I was going to print, we need these to be printable. And at the moment, they are not. So if we want to apply this, we can come up and click apply, and it's going to say, no, we can't. This does not contain a mesh, because at the moment, we are just instancing. And instancing doesn't generate mesh. Instead, what we're going to have to do is click realize instances, but we're going to have a problem. Once we realize an instance, everything goes back to its original point because randomized transformations works on instances, and if we realize the instances, they're not an instance anymore. They've been turned into geometry. So we can't realize our instances, we need to turn that off. Now, I think this is something that is missing. This needs an option at the bottom to realize instances. That would solve a lot of potential annoyance here, and the people at Blender don't seem to have thought of people that want to do 3D printing. Now there are ways around this once we want to do this, but I would like to keep this as a modifier. I want to keep this non-destructive. And what we're going to have to do is destructive in nature. So please, Blender, put a realize instance box at the bottom so we don't have to do this. But what we're going to do is Control and A, and we're going to have to click Make Instances Real. Click on that, and that is going to, well, sort of do this destructively. What that does is actually, if we just G and Z this up, makes a duplicate of everything. So we've still got the non-destructive version underneath this. So we could come back and change this if we want. I'm just going to hide that. And this is just semi-destructively, I guess you'd say, made a copy and created them as solid geometry. So yeah, probably not a huge problem that we don't have the box there, because we still do have the objects behind, but it would be nice if that realize instance button was there. Anyway, hopefully this showed you a couple of new things. Dave, hopefully that gave you a good idea of what we could do and how we could do this in a slightly different way. And if you did want to do this in a straight line, you can still do that. Just make a line, subdivide that line, and then use this trick, and you can do exactly what you wanted. As always, if you do want to play around with this, I'm going to put this on the Patreon so you can play around with this as much as you want, as it's already been set up. If you did find this useful, please hit that like button, it really helps the channel out, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys.